Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, October 11th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started shortly. So just give me a few moments to finish setting this up, and then we should be good to go. Looks good. Things here to update. All right, looks like we're good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, link's been sent out. Looks like we are good to go. All right, so I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. As people make their way into the room, first things first, I'm gonna go and mark up the SR zones. Zones here are pretty spread out. I mean, the ones down here are not super relevant, but I will mark them up anyways for now. I mean, they're probably going to disappear as market continues to move along. All right. Just look farther back. And I think we are good to go. So I'll get a few more moments for people to make their way in. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Peter. Morning, Pat. Morning, Al. Morning, everybody. So let me go and mark up the news prices for this morning and today. There's not too much news today. There's like news all day. There's the Fed speaking at 9. And that's about it. There's nothing really big happening today. There was news at 3 o'clock, but it's not really, it was neutral. Let me see if I can find it over here. It's super far off, so I don't think it's going to be too necessary, but I'll mark it up anyways. So today at 3 o'clock, we had NFIB Small Business Index, which was, yeah, it was like way over here. Neutral news, nothing serious. So this was 3 a.m. US news, neutral. Other than that, looks like price is starting to make its way down. I've marked up the overall bias here. So retail sentiment currently right now is 64% long. Fundamentals are 3 points in the green. 4-hour trend is bearish. 1-hour trend's bearish. 30-minute trend's bearish. 15-minute trend was bullish. 10-minute trend was bullish as well. But looking at price coming down, it looks like this may be turning neutral. So let me check this real quick. Neutral, bullish. And I think same with the 10-minute as well. So it's still bullish right now, but you know, that'll probably change as price continues to move along, obviously. So we'll leave that alone for now. And then we'll see where price ends up taking us as price continues to move along. Hopefully price moves a bit more directional today. If it does, then, you know, awesome. We'll look for any types of entries, mostly variation V1s and K2SR rejections. But, you know, if we see something really good, then we'll follow it even further. Also, I'll try to mark up the breakout today. If we do get a breakout, you know, we'll just try to see where it's going. And then if you guys want to take a partial move, like is what I will probably do. You guys can hop into that as well. So With that said, market is opening in about 3 minutes, guys. So just give it a few more minutes for market to open. Let's see who else is here real quick. Morning, Maria. Dejan said, "Hold if Sean, stop the markets. I just turned my shower off." Morning, Saren. Morning, Fahad. Morning, everybody. So hopefully everyone had a great weekend. We were coming back from a long weekend. So typically Tuesdays are a bit iffy. If you guys looked at the market yesterday, it was super choppy. Not very much direction. Lots of big moves, but a lot of random moves. So I didn't trade yesterday. I think only a few of you guys traded, and you guys locked into pretty solid profits. Taking advantage of the volatility. Price is currently at these sessions right now, so huge red flag. But we'll see what happens when the market opens in the next 2 minutes. So, hey, Marco, morning. All right, guys, market is opening in 2 minutes. We pretty much looked over most stuff today. Couple things here in the news. There's 5 things to know before the stock market opens. New skid. Looks like the market's been on straight losing sessions for the past 4 straight sessions. Fire sale. Everyone's starting to realize the recession we're going into, especially over here in the UK. War in the Ukraine still going on, strong as it's ever been. And just computers over here. It says that PC shipments have fallen, and then Apple's starting to thrive even further. So just a couple of things there on CNBC, nothing too crazy. Let me take a look at the fundamentals now. Fundamentals are actually down 50 points now, so this is going to change slightly. And the retail sentiment over here is at 63%. So not too much has changed, but everything is starting to point towards the downside. So if that's the case, then we'll probably start looking for some sells here. So we'll see if price breaks below the sessions over here. Hopefully breaks through on this candle so that we can possibly look for, a breakout. We don't want price to be near these red flags on open, because it's going to be impossible to look for, solid entry. It's going to be stuck right here at this red flag. So, all right, price is dropping lower. This candle is going to close in about 15 seconds. Market's going to open at the same time, and we'll see where this goes moving forward. Yeah, no, it works. Slava, thanks for the heads up this morning. Morning, Jonathan. All right, guys, market is now open. So it opened right at the sessions again, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I'll just mark this up here as opening price. And then we'll continue to move forward with this here. So whatever type of entry we get here for the breakout, if we do get a breakout, it's going to be at the session. So a huge red flag. So either or, we probably would not be taking this trade. If it does close out as a strong red candle, I'll mark it up so we can follow, but I'm not necessarily looking to take it just yet. Just because of where it's currently at. We typically want it to be away from the sessions because you don't want to get caught in manipulation, right? So this candle's got about 10 seconds left on it. If it closes as a strong red candle, this would technically be the breakout. I'm not going to take it completely. I'll follow it. I do think price will continue to drop lower because the overall bias over here is pretty strong for a sell. So, technically, if it didn't close as a strong red candle, this would possibly be the one right here. But again, it's still at, opening price. So it's still a bit of a red flag. So again, guys, I'm not taking this myself. I'm just marking it up to show you guys what would possibly be the breakout. It is in the overall direction. So if it does close as a strong red candle, this is probably going to push at least, a certain amount to reach partial profits, but does not look like it's closing as a moderate red candle or a strong red candle. So looks like no breakout off that one there. And this is why you guys got to wait, because if you guys don't wait, you guys end up getting caught in these fake outs. It's right at it's like at 2 big red flags, opening price and sessions. So right there, no breakout because it did not close as a strong red candle. If this pushes up higher, I don't think this will continue pushing. I think it'll just fake out and come right back down. So we'll see how this closes. As you guys can see, market's super erratic here on open. It's typical for a long weekend or returning from a long weekend. A lot of orders getting filled during that period. So I'll continue watching right here. I'll go to the clean chart as well. I'm going to go and mark up the possible areas of liquidity. And we'll see if we can identify market structure and possible structure for the day. High lows marked right here. Mark of opening price. Wait a minute. This is my bad. That's not even right now. All right, so here we are. Current price. So as you guys can see, there's a ton of liquidity here on the bottom, right? So with that said, you can probably expect some interesting movements to happen. It comes back below because there's a lot of liquidity sitting below there. Let's go back to this chart over here. So as you guys can see, there's no direction at all. It's just a huge, huge spike in both directions. You have a big wick on the bottom right here, and then you have a big wick on top right here. So market is super indecisive right now with regard to what direction it plans on going. My guess is that it's going to fake out to the top and it's going to come back down. The reason why I'm anticipating that is because the retail sentiment is 63% long. So overall long-term bias is bearish. Fundamentals were somewhat down. 4-hour trend is bearish, 1-hour trend is bearish, 30-minute trend is bearish, 15-minute trend is neutral. And it's starting to shift to the downside, right? So I think this is a fake out to the upside, and I think price is going to come right back down. If we don't get a strong red candle in the next candle or so, then there's no breakout for today, because the breakout has to happen within the first 5 minutes. So if it doesn't happen after this candle right here or the next one, then there's not going to be a breakout for today. But I do anticipate price to come back down further. So we'll see how that goes. But as you guys can see, starting to be a strong red candle right here. If this is a strong red candle, this would technically be the breakout, but it's going to be right at the middle of these red flags. So not one that I would necessarily plan on taking. I'll follow it, but I'm not going to take it myself. If price gets down here, then I'll probably take it for a partial move for the last push, right, at the very end. But it doesn't look like it's closing right here. It's got about 30 seconds left, so it's got a lot of time. But we'll see how that plays out. A lot of choppiness here, no surprise. And you can see here, so this is a clean chart. I just marked up the high lows to identify market structure, and you guys can see that it's really just ranging down the middle right here. Market open right here, hasn't gone anywhere. It's just bouncing back and forth within this area. So this candle is closing the next 5 seconds. We'll see if it closes as a strong red candle for the breakout, but it's right at a red flag, so not one that I could take. Okay, so this is the breakout right here. But as I mentioned, it's right at the red flags. So if I do take this, it'll probably be for a partial move, but not necessarily, the full move here. Let me see if I can maybe get at least 100 pips as price continues to, bounce around. But it is a bit of a risky move because it's right at the session. So I might have to wait for this one to close and then maybe hop in after, but I'm not going to take the full move. As I mentioned, it's just not in a good area, but it's lining up with our overall bias. The reason why I'm okay with the sell here is because retail sentiment 63% long, indicating that 63% of retail traders are currently currently buying. So you'd like to do the opposite and sell. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're also red. But you can see right here that it's in an area of manipulation, right? It's right at the sessions. So this is why you want to be careful about taking these types of entries. I'm not in the position yet. I was going to take it if it came down below here, but it didn't come down there. So I'm just going to wait a little bit. I mean, it's still stuck in this area, so there's no area for us to take any entries anyways. Unless price drops below here, it would have to drop below here and stay below here. So basically drop below here, consolidate down here, and continue dropping. That's where I would take the trade. Or what I'd be looking for here is for price to actually come below even further, come back slightly, provide a wick rejection off the structure right here, and continue dropping from that point. So this is actually where I would take the entry, not this actual movement right here, because it's right in the middle of opening price and these sessions. So as you guys can see, it is kind of bouncing around a lot, causing potential fake outs. But, you know, eventually I do think it's going to come back down. It's a matter of time. So just a reminder, guys, I'm not in this breakout right here. I just wanted to mark it up to show you guys. If there wasn't a sessions right here, I'd probably take it for a partial move up here. So like as soon as the candle closed, I probably would have taken it for a quick 100 pips down here. But, you know, obviously it didn't play out like that because the sessions were right down the middle. So, and again, right here, it came back down, retest the sessions, and then it shot right back up, right? A ton of manipulation here, which is normal. You guys have seen it. This is why we don't take trades around sessions. We don't take trades around news price, opening price. If you guys are not familiar with the red flags, let's go ahead and put them back up over here. So number one is always going to be the sessions. That's right here. And you can see that's exactly where price keeps bouncing off of. Price comes down here, fakes out, shoots right back up. Price comes down, bounces off the session, shoots right back up. And it could happen in both directions. It could happen for a buy, it could happen for a sell. But I do think, you know, possibly overall, price is going to continue dropping from here. It just needs to get away from the sessions right here. Once it gets away from this point, it'll probably continue dropping. But yeah, as of now, it's going to wait and to see where it goes. Yeah, Maddie said it's trying to break the sessions. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm just being patient with it. All right. There it goes. It starts to come back below. Yeah, Dijon said if it does fall, I'll catch the last 10 pips. Yeah, no, that's what I'm looking for too. So here it goes, it breaks below it and it starts to drop a little lower, but as you know, it's still at that huge red flag area, the sessions. So I'm looking for it to come down here. You know, I could probably cash it up here if I wanted to, but you can see right here another fake out. So you can see it's a similar pattern. Every time price comes down to the sessions right here, it'll fake out and shoot up, or it'll come back and test it, shoot up. And then again, right here, it came back down, tested it, and it shot right back up. So it's not a good area to trade. And we see this pattern happen every time. So we always try to skip trades whenever they're near the sessions. It's not a good area to trade. Also, you know, with it being Tuesday, first day out of the long weekend, you obviously want to be careful with the market too, because there's just no direction here. If you go to the clean chart, so you can't really see it too well here, but if you go to the clean chart right here, price is still going sideways. Still nothing going on right there. Looks like we're getting a big zone right here. Yeah, exactly. Jonathan said not a good time to FOMO. Definitely not a good time to FOMO because you could get caught. So it looks like we have a big zone right here. Let me go and just update this real quick. It overlaps with this big one. So, I mean, if anything, I could draw two separate zones right there. I'll probably just draw two separate zones because the other one is so small that this will probably disappear after a while. But you guys can see how all this manipulation is happening right off this red line, right? I mean, if this doesn't show manipulation to you, I don't know what else would, because it's pretty clear. This red line has been here since before price even started touching it. You can see how many times it's touched it right here. It's touched about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bounced up, 7, 8, bounced up, 9, 10, 11, 12, bounced up. So it's basically touched the sessions about 12 or more times. And every time it gets near it, it just shoots right back up, and then it comes right back up here to the sessions, or not the sessions, the SR zone, and it just comes right back down, right? So massive area of what we would consider, I mean, if you don't want to consider it manipulation, you can still consider it like something else. You can consider it a support resistance, right? You can consider it, because people will call these things a lot of different names. Like people call it support resistance. We call it the sessions. Whatever you guys want to call it, you guys can see the pattern here just keeps repeating itself. Price is having trouble getting past these two structures. And I mean, whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it support resistance, you can call it that, because that's basically what's happening here. It's bouncing off support resistance. The only difference here is that we're using this as an area of like where anything can happen, really. That's why I call it manipulation. So I mean, you guys call it whatever you want. If you guys want to call it manipulation, I just call it sessions. This is why we avoid trading around these areas. Yeah, Maddie said price is squeezing, which is exactly what's happening. Price is just starting to get tighter and tighter right here. This is like the best time to be patient, guys. You guys have to just be disciplined and wait for this to break out, because it's going to break out eventually. It can't keep doing this forever. It's going to break out to the top, or it's going to break out to the bottom eventually. If it comes down to the bottom over here, then I will probably catch it as it comes down to the zone. Because there's two zones here. There's one big zone down here. So if price comes below here, cuts down below the sessions, closes, and allows for a wick rejection off the structure, then yeah, the zone's still there. Then we can take the sell. It's just a matter of being patient and waiting for it to actually come down below here. But as you guys can see, price just keeps going back and forth between the sessions and the zone. So I'm pretty much just going to sit on my hands for now until it confirms anything. I don't see anything else here. Looks like there was a V1 here. So Maddie, I was looking at your continuation strategy. I mean, I was just like looking at it last night and yesterday. Like I noticed how like you would just take like whatever double top, or like, you know, the double body on the top side. I would probably recommend that you look for the high lows, because I started to look at a lot of those double tops, and there's a lot of fake outs and a lot of bad entries that come up like that, because you're kind of just taking every single entry, right? But what I noticed is that if you look at these with the high lows, like if you're applying like a typical V1, but without the penny momentum, it actually hits pretty often. Like there's one right here that actually played out. There's a double top right here, or a double body. Price was ready to sell. Price came up, established that double body, and then it this would have been a solid sell right there. So here's a breakout right here that I was marking up earlier, guys. This is the main reason why you don't want to take breakouts when it's at the sessions, right? Because this is what happens. You get caught in a ton of manipulation. With this right here, this will probably trigger the stop loss and then come right back down. So this is why we decided not to take this trade here. Whenever you guys see price near these red flags, you know, any of these here, sessions, opening price, news price, etc., you just want to sit out of the trade, because there's a chance that you could win the trade, but the chance of it not playing out exactly how you planned is very likely. So good thing we didn't take that breakout right there. I mean, either way, it was screaming red flags all throughout, because market opened right here at 6:30. It was literally at the sessions. So we would avoid that trade completely. Let's go back and see what's going on over here with the sentiment. Sentiment's back to 64%. So I'll just make a couple updates over here. And guys, just keep in mind, if you guys didn't attend the mentoring session yesterday, I did mention that, you know, today's going to be kind of tricky, because we're coming back from the long weekend, and you're going to see a lot of these unusual movements. So this is normal for us to like not have an entry on the first day. But if you guys look at the news for tomorrow, there's a lot of news happening tomorrow. So there's no news today. That's why the market's kind of like all over the place. There's no clear direction as to where price is going to go. However, on Wednesday, we have inflation news, PPI, core PPI. So this is going to cause market to move pre-market. And then on Thursday, we have some more inflation news, CPI, core CPI, unemployment claims at the same time. So a lot of pre-market news tomorrow and Thursday. which will cause price to move around. Friday, we have core retail sales, import prices, prelim UOM consumer sentiment, prelim UOM inflation expectations, and business inventory. So you can see that there's no news today, but on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there's a lot of news. So if you guys don't catch anything today, it's completely fine. You know, the first day from a long weekend is typically kind of tricky. And you guys can see right here that it's very tricky because there's no direction. Again, right here, another fake out. So price broke out of this, or technically it didn't. It broke out of it, but didn't close. The zone here that I drew earlier is still going sideways. So same zone as earlier. You can see that price wicks out of it, but isn't actually closed. So price will wick out, fake out, swing back up. It wicked out over here, faked out, and swung back in. So it just keeps swinging back into this range right here. Again, right here, price broke below. We'll see if it closes. If it closes right there, then it might be on its way down, which is what we were technically waiting for this whole time. All right, we got about 40 seconds left on this candle. So if this candle does close below here, we have a possibility of a SR rejection within the zone over here. So we got about 20 seconds left on this candle. Let's see if price stays below here. If it does, we'll look for an SR rejection. It kind of lines up with the rest of our biases here. Ten seconds. It's got to stay within the zone over here. It doesn't stay within the zone, we're not going to get that wick rejection. And it did not stay within the zone. So unfortunately, no entry there. I mean, you guys can see how wacky this market is moving, right? If you guys are following the candles candle by candle, you can see this candle was like way down here. At the last 5 seconds, price came all the way up and then ended up closing right back where the sessions was. So it's right back into this area of manipulation. So if you guys look at these sessions, they kind of act as a magnet, right? Price will pull away from it, it'll pull right back to it, pull away from it, pull right back to it. And this is where a lot of people get caught in all these fake outs. Another thing that you guys want to keep in mind that is today is Trap Tuesday, right? You guys remember that. So a lot of these traps get set up on Tuesday. Like you can be trading in either direction here, whether you're buying or selling, you can get stopped out in either way. So you guys can see here that price. I mean, if you're entering like right down the middle, you could be getting screwed so many ways, right? Because price will go up like 500 pips, you get stopped out. Price goes down like 500 pips, you get stopped out. Either way, you could get screwed. I mean, wherever direction you're trading in. So at this point, it's probably best to just sit it out and wait for market to actually have a direction. So I think the main thing you could look out for here is not when price breaks outside of it, but when it closes outside of this area. So just wait for price to break below here, actually close below there, possibly retest and continue. Then you can look for sells. Vice versa, price pushes out here, retests and continues, then there goes your other scenario right there, right? You just don't want to trade within this middle area. This middle area is the whole red zone. So you don't trade within here because price just keeps getting sucked back into this area. Let's see, Rick said, I think the main market maker is Hunter Biden, right? Did you get into something crazy this weekend, Rick? Man, every time I see the news with Hunter Biden, I'm like, damn, that guy's like always up to something. Rick said this market is on crack. Exactly. Yeah, it's not a good time to trade right now, guys. So hopefully you guys are like taking all this information in and actually understanding, why we're sitting out of the market right now, because it's just going back and forth. There's no clear direction here. Here's a clean chart. It just keeps getting pulled back into this area. So the best thing you guys can do right now is just wait, right? We just wait, be patient, wait for these entries to come. I mean, they're going to come eventually. It's just a matter of time. And again, it's only 6:51, so just keep that in mind. It might feel like we've been on this session for like an hour already, but it's only been like, like 21 minutes. So it's all about patience and discipline. Yeah, still nothing going on here. I don't think there was any news today, so I don't really expect price to really push too heavy. I mean, we'll see. Sentiment, it just keeps bouncing between 63% and 64%. You can see a lot of retail traders here getting stopped out. It looks like a lot of people are trying to buy the dip. As soon as they try to buy the dip, price drops super heavy and they get stopped out. I could kind of see people right here getting stopped out because price pushed up. If they entered a buy over here trying to chase the buy to the upside, price dumped about almost 1,000 pips. So Kenny is asking, did FTMO change their lot size again? So it's been set at well, I'm not sure what you're referring to, Kenny, but if it's the same as it's been for like the past 2 months, I think. Like when they changed it the last time. Okay, so Patricia said yes, they did accept US30. Gotcha. Thanks, Patricia. Yeah, I wouldn't know because I don't trade anything other than US30. But Patricia did confirm that they changed the other, I guess, indices in Forex pairs, but they did not change US30. I got those emails and I couldn't understand what they were talking about. But US30 has been at where it's been for the past, I guess, couple months now. So I'm still at 100 lots on mine. Or actually, I don't know because I haven't taken any trades yet. So, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. But yeah, thanks, Patricia, for clearing that up. All right, so here we go as price starts to move along. Okay, it's moving along, but it's not going anywhere. So here's a clean chart again. I just gave you guys a visualization. It might look like price is going somewhere, but so you can't really see it here as clearly, but looking over here on the clean chart, it's pretty clear that price is having trouble getting past this area and this area down here. So don't worry about the price breaking past. Just look for price actually closing outside of these areas. Patrick said, man, I'm going to have to start trading last half of London session instead of New York. So as I mentioned yesterday, I don't know if you were, or you might have been there, Patrick. I've been trading like pre-market. So I've been trading like around 5 o'clock. I didn't do it today, but typically, I've been waking up earlier. So there's actually a couple entries over here, I think. Like this one right here at 502. It was an SR rejection. It was like a perfect entry right there. So if you guys do want to trade pre-market, I've started to notice like a lot of good trades come between 5 and 6 o'clock. There's like at least 1 or 2 good trades. Today I got up a little later, so I didn't see this one when it happened, but I got up around 5:30. Unfortunately, price was already like way up here. So there was no opportunities for me to take at that moment. But oh yeah, I forgot it was Thanksgiving for you guys. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you guys in Canada. I forgot you guys have Thanksgiving a month ahead of us. Nice. Yeah, so Patrick said he did take one small push in the morning though for a win. Solid. Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, a win's a win, especially during these types of markets. I mean, catching something right here is super difficult because price is spiking around so much that it's easy to get stopped out before hitting your TP, especially with tight stops that we typically use. Patrick said got paid to eat turkey dinner, right? One thing that I was going to, and I just lost my train of thought here. Oh, so what I was looking for, I was just playing around with the charts yesterday. I was looking here on the 10-minute. These the V1s here work pretty well. I mean, depending on like what you're looking for. But the V1s and the V1 continuations, I was kind of just back testing it, playing around with the charts. Same as I was talking to Maddie earlier about, looking for these high lows. If you look for these high lows and look for these V1s and continuations, they actually work pretty well. So here's an example right here. We have a sell momentum. We have a double body right here with the high. And you can basically take this for a 500 pip move. I was thinking about maybe possibly identifying these and sharing these trades, which maybe I will if I see them. But just going for a flat 1-to-1 risk reward, 500 pips. If you see like a V1 or a V1 continuation, they typically hit pretty solidly. There's like one right there. And this is just me looking at the charts because I was just trying to figure out stuff. And you basically would just take these trades in the direction of, you know, the trend or whatever. Like again, right here, there's, or no, these aren't aligned. The thing with the 10-minute is that these V1s come up a lot less. So when you do see them, they typically work pretty well. And you have to be really accurate with identifying, because this right here looks like a double body, but it's not. It's slightly away from it. This one right here, though, would be a double body. So we have a sell momentum, price below the pivots, double body. This would be another short. And obviously, you know, it hits full TP right there. So if you guys want to take a look at this stuff, I mean, you know, feel free. Not just normal, just not the continuations only, but also the normal V1s. So another one right here. Double body, V1 continuation. Long position right there. Obviously full TP. So that's something I was looking at. And don't worry, guys, I'm still here on the 1 minute. There's nothing going on over here. But yeah, this is something that, you know, you can possibly look at, which is that I found to be pretty lucrative. They don't come up very often. The only problem with this here, though, is that you have to like be on the charts like a lot of times because these trades will come up randomly. I mean, there's probably ways to set an alert, but I'd probably have to set an alert for the high lows. I don't know if I can do that. Let's see. I'll have to just ask my brother to. Yeah, because there's no alert that I can set for these high lows because they do repaint so often. But I can probably have them set an alert. So like when I have, like for example, right here, since we have a price below the pivots, I could see where I could try to get alerted for any highs that come up. So if we get a high over here that comes up at some point and price stays below here, and we get a double body, then there could be a possible entry for, you know, for a sell here. There's no high right here, but it looks like this will close. If this closes as a red candle, this would be a double body. But in order for it to establish what I just explained, we need these higher highs or higher lows, any of these high lows to come up and fulfill the requirement. But back over here to the 1 minute, there's still nothing going on here. This wouldn't fit the requirements though. I just marked it up just to show that there was a double body, but you would need something like this. Like you need some sort of high to come up. And the reason why you would do that is because this would help you focus on accuracy, because you can look at like the double tops that happen here, or I mean, not double tops, but the double bodies, they don't always play out. But if you look at the ones with the actual highs, they do typically play out pretty often. Let's see. A couple of profits over here. See, this is what Maddie just sent me. So Maddie said, so he took some GU trades. He said, anticipating this, I don't know when, but it'll drop. And leave for some sells. Yeah, no, same here, Maddie. I'm looking for the liquidity there as well. There's a lot of liquidity sitting on the bottom. So solid profits right here for you. Took some GU trades this morning. Some more profits over here from Al. Al over here as well. Currently made a total profit of 1,436. Solid workout. Slav over here as well. So a couple more profits over here. Scotty sent some profits in, locked in a total profit of 1,435. Nice work, Scotty. And Slav over here as well. Slav said patience and 3% is what is more than needed. Thanks, Sean. Definitely Slava. So Slava over here locked in a total profit 6,157. So it looks like a lot of you guys here are following the bias here for a sell. You guys did lock in some solid profits there. I'm just waiting for price to come back down. As you can see right here, also with Scotty, he took all the sells here as well. It's just waiting for price to come back down further. And that's what I'm waiting for myself. Al over here as well, also took a sell, total profit of 1,436. So great work so far, guys. We will continue and see where this ends up going. So here's the double body that I showed you guys. So as I mentioned, these double bodies do play out pretty solidly, but they're not as accurate as if you're looking for the high lows. So I just wanted to show you this as an example. The reason why I was okay here with the sell, I know the trend meter was green or it was blue, but the reason why I was looking at the sell here was because the overall bias was for a sell, right? All right, price is dropping down below. We need that sell signal in order for us to get this K2 SR rejection. So in order to get the SR rejection, we need to have that sell signal come up, which we don't have yet, right? So we got about 30 seconds left on this candle right here, but we need this to actually close. Patrick said we have news in a minute. Let me check real quick. I don't see any news over here. Let me check my FX book. I don't see it here either. Oh, I see this right here. Oh yeah, it was at 7 o'clock. Okay, so we actually had news right now, guys, at 7 o'clock. So we wouldn't be able to take any entries right here. So thanks for the heads up, Patrick. I didn't it wasn't on my it wasn't on Forex Factory. It was on my FX book though. So there was news right here at 7 o'clock. Medium news, it was negative. I'm going to mark that up right here. US news, negative. I mean, it wouldn't really matter to us too much because it's right at the sessions too anyways. 7:04 right now. Still no sell signals, so no SR entry. Trying to figure out. Okay, I see. So this zone over here is just a really big zone. Yeah, still no sell signal. So until we get the sell signal, we can't confirm momentum to continue dropping that direction. So the main thing we're looking for here is wick rejection with a sell signal. If we get a sell signal, it's going to be a moderate red candle. So that's going to be an automatic. But yeah, we are looking for we have the wick rejection here. We now just need a moderate red candle or a sell signal. Jonathan's asking if I've ever used dark mode on the chart. Yeah, I've used dark mode before, but I'm used to having the normal screen. Jonathan, I don't really like the dark mode too much. I think it's too dark, and you can't see all the colors as clearly, in my perspective. So I don't really use it that much. I've used it before, and I think the colorways are kind of weird because I've had it in dark mode before, and I think the tabs here still stay like this color. So it's not really flush. But yeah, I've used it before. It was just harder for me to see things. All right, so here we are. We're back into a range. So look where price is coming back to. Price faked out below here, closed below, faked out, pulled right back into the range right here. So, I mean, realistically, not really much of a surprise because we already knew something like that was going to happen. So you got to wait and confirm that it actually stays below. So here we are back on the clean chart. Price is right back in the range that it was earlier. Price came down, faked out, came right back up. Now it's just ranging again, right down the middle. So let's see what happens here. If this candle ends up staying within the range, it's probably gonna stay within it for a while. If it comes back below, it might fake out for a second attempt. But there just isn't any direction here. Take this off quick. Yeah, I mean, there's not too much direction. Price is coming down. This is the bias that we had anyway. So we already anticipated price to come down. It's just a matter of time until it actually does come down. So it came down right here, faked out. Now it's coming back down again. Still, same issue. So we have a wick rejection. We just need this sell signal. That's literally all we need right here. So we'll keep watching it. 10-minute, there's nothing going on there. 5-minute, there's no daily entry here yet. 3-minute. So the 3-minute daily actually came up right here. It would have been a counter trend trade because the overall bias was a sell. Looks like it would have hit TP. Actually, let me see. Yeah, it would have gone close to stop loss, but I did hit TP at some point. All right, so here we are back in the range. Just faked out again, pulling back up into the range. See if it closes within there, if it stays below. All right. All right, say if price stays below here, that's perfectly fine. We just need it to stay consistently below there. Okay, so we have a pending sell signal right here. We do have the wick rejection right there off this candle. We just need it to close with the signal. If it closes with the signal, it's most likely more than not going to be a moderate candle. So we'll have to see where this goes. It's still bouncing around. All right, we've got about 10 seconds on this candle. Does not look like it's going to close with a sell signal. No. All right. So you can see price here attempting to make its way back up. It keeps trying to get pulled back into this range over here, but it keeps faking out. It'll go up, pull back down, go back up. It's just back and forth movement right here. Just gotta wait for it to confirm, but it does not look like we're gonna get anything anytime soon. No variations here. Actually, there's a variation right here, but I think the candle might have been. Yeah, so there was a slight variation here. I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but it was a double wick. So there was a high over here. The only problem is that it's right at the session, so we wouldn't have taken this trade. That's probably why I didn't really notice it, because I mean, would have hit TP, but this right here was right at the session. We had a double wick, same size, same level off the high right here, pending sell momentum. And this would have been an entry for a sell. So that would have been one entry there, but it would have been right at the sessions, would have skipped it. So from market open 6:30 up until now 7:12, there's no official entries. I mean, obviously reasons here, price has not really moved at all. So let's see, market open right here at the opening price. So opening price is right here. Price has only come down about 170 pips. I mean, the highest it's been was 700 pips to the top and about 500 pips to the bottom. But overall, no direction here at all. Let's see here if we get that sell signal. No, we didn't get the sell signal again. There's a pending sell signal here, but it's not actually closing. It just keeps opening and closing. But there's no direction. I mean, there hasn't been too much movement here at all. Let's see if there's anything else here. No. Let me fix this here. I don't know why the zone here is so big. Oh, it's because of this one. Never mind. All right. But if you look here on the bigger picture, so you can see that price has already been shifting, right? So it's shifting in the direction that we're anticipating and trading in. You can see from parallel channel right here, price has been in a downtrend for a while. It's just now starting to continue. There goes, price starts to get manipulated back up. Yeah, what a weird market. Here is the clean chart. It's pulled right back into the range. So as you guys can see, a lot of the fake outs here, fake out right there. Price came back below, faked out a bunch of times right here, came back even further, huge fake out right here, and pulled right back into this area. So I still think price will continue dropping. It's just going to be a matter of time. Price will continue to mess around this area, basically stop people out both ways. But eventually I do expect it to come back down. So while we're waiting for that, let's take a look at the 4-hour trend. 4-hour trend is still bearish. 1 hour still bearish. 30 minutes still bearish. 15-minute is now bullish. I mean, it's neutral to bullish. I'll change it later if it stays that way. 10 minutes still bullish. And the 1 minute here is also bullish, but I don't think it's going to hold. So everything here still looks pretty fine. Let me take a look at the sentiment again. Sentiment is 63%. Fundamentals are 60 points in the red. So, I mean, there's not really much that has changed. Overall direction confluence still the same. So today's kind of playing out like we anticipated. If you guys were on the mentoring session yesterday, I did mention this was going to play out like this. Not very much direction because there's not too much news going on today. Tomorrow it'll pick up. I think what will happen today is price will probably get propped up. I'll see a lot of manipulation today. Price get pushed up slightly. So let's look over here on the 10 real quick. So let's see. Yeah, I think price might push up slightly. And let me mark up news for tomorrow because we have inflation news coming out tomorrow at 5:30. So that I think price will probably get propped up a bit, or it might consolidate. So price is currently right here. News happens over here at 5:30. So price might push up a little bit. And maybe go sideways for a bit. But when the inflation news comes out right here at 5:30, it's going to come crashing right back down. So this whole gap over here is going to get filled at some point, probably. This area right here. So price continues to push up higher. This is kind of where the gap will get filled, right? So, I mean, you're going to see a lot of this like random movement. up until then. It's 5:30 tomorrow. We have inflation news. I believe so, right? Wednesday, October 12th. Yeah, we have PPI and core PPI at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow. So you're gonna get a lot of this weird movement until then. I mean, one thing that you could look out for here would be a variation of V1. Yeah, exactly. Jonathan said, if I don't take a trade today, that's still a W. Protecting the capital is key. Yeah, especially during these types of conditions. I mean, there's ways that you guys can get lucky, or you guys can take certain trades and still hit. But your risk, like your risk percentage, is super high trading this type of market. What I would do is I would look for reversals back to the downside. So obviously price will continue to prop up, but looking over here on the 10, if you get a V1 here, or you get a V1 continuation, then that could be solid because price will probably push down at least a little bit before it continues to move up higher. So might push up slightly, pull back slightly, and then continue up even higher. And it just might continue to keep doing that over time. So yeah, it's just going to be some time until it gets to that point. Right? Here we are over here. I think this is probably where it's going to turn around. Looks like it might fake out at this point and then come right back down. We don't have a sell signal here, so unfortunately we can't take an SR rejection. Here, let's see. Maria's asking, was there a buy SR last candle? So yeah, looking at this right here, this would technically be an SR, but as Patrick mentioned, it was too big of a candle. Yeah. Yeah, the candle is bigger than the stop loss. That's too big, Maria. So I wouldn't fit the criteria. I mean, unless you wanted to take it as a late entry, yeah, possibly, but it still wouldn't fit as the criteria here because the candle here is just too big. The problem with this here is if the candle is too big, if price does retrace down to either the halfway mark or worst case scenario, price comes back and retests the entire candle, then you get stopped out. So for example, price came down to here, price may come down and then bounce back up, right? That's like best case scenario. Worst case scenario, which is what's probably going to happen right here, is price will retrace to the candle, which will be past the stop loss, and then it swings right back up and hits TP. So no entry there. And you can see it's doing that exactly. So you want to be careful when taking these entries where the candle's too big, because it'll retrace to the candle and then it'll probably just swing back up, or it'll continue dropping. Let's see, question from Maria. She said the 716 candle. No, so there's no wick rejection right here, Maria. Thanks, Alex, for confirming that as well. So you can see the wicks right here. There's no zone that it's bouncing off of. So no wick rejection, no criteria met, and definitely no entry off that. So here goes, price comes back down. It's kind of doing what we anticipated. Faked out right there. I agree with the circle, and it's right back into the range again. It's just a bunch of fake outs. If you guys look at these areas here, I mean, price just keeps faking out. It'll come up, fake out, come back below, fake out down here, and it just gets magnetized back into this middle area. I don't think there was any variations here. So there's no variations on the 1 minute. There was also no variations. So this doesn't line up. I was looking to see if this here lined up. And you can see where it kind of looks like it lines up a little bit. If you see something like this and you're not sure, just draw a line right there. And if you got to zoom in a lot, you can zoom in as close as you want. You can see that it doesn't line up here. So there's no double body. Or this high right here. It's a little more trickier on the 10 minute when identifying these double bodies and double wicks because they typically do not line up very often. Let's see, Barack, it started with the loss from Asia. It's what I'm trying to get back this New York. Yeah, I mean, you'll get it eventually, Brock. It's just a matter of patience. I mean, if you can see the market right here, it wouldn't really matter what strategy you're applying. If you're applying the SR, or you're applying the variations, there's not even any variations here to take. Let me see, I'll just look back to here real quick. Yeah, there isn't even any variations here to take to begin with, because I'm looking for V1s and I'm looking for SR rejections. There's no SR rejections here because we don't have any sell signal. This one right here would have been too big. Yeah, so this whole area right here, unfortunately, there's no sells for us to take because there was no sell signal. So just looking back at the chart, I guess there were a couple SR rejections right here that could have possibly be taken, but it was right at the sessions. No, actually, there's no SR rejections here. I mean, possibly this one, but it's right at news price. I guess this is like the only SR rejection that we could have possibly taken. 641, but it was right at the sessions right here. So although I wouldn't have taken it, this is the only one that came up that met criteria, and it did hit CP. I don't see anything else here. Yeah, this right here would not be an SR rejection. Trend meter's blue. There's no sell momentum at all here. All right, we finally got a sell momentum signal out right here. So price might be making its way back down. The only problem with this here is that it's right at the session. So this would technically be an SR entry, but it's right at the sessions again. Yeah, it's too close to the sessions. If price comes down here, it's going to have to touch the sessions in order for you to hit your TP. So it's just not going to meet the criteria. Also, it's right at news price too. Let's measure the wick. So if you guys are not familiar with identifying if it's a moderate candle or not, what you'll do is you'll just go to the bottom of the candle right here at the body, measure the wick, see how big the wick is. Wick right here is 70 pips. Now pull it up and measure the body. The body right here is just about the same. It's at 80 pips. So this here would not meet the criteria for a moderate candle. Also, it's right at news price. So another red flag there not to take the trade. Man, I was hoping for at least one trade today, but the market is just not, I mean, it's not moving at all. So here's opening price, this line right here. Price opened and it just went back and forth for a whole basically 30 minutes until 7. And then from 7 over here, it looks like it's creating another big range. So price started below here, came up here, and now it's pulling right back below. So there's no direction at all. Basically, if there was a direction here, price would push up, retrace, and continue going up. That would be the direction for that one there. Vice versa, if price was coming down, you want to see price come below, retrace, and continue dropping. But realistically, there's no direction here at all. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bias again. So I want to see if there's any updates here. Bias is still the same, 63%. Looking over here at the fundamentals, currently 50 points. So as you guys can see, it hasn't changed at all. I created this bias or this confluence chart setup about an hour ago. So I set this up on market open and nothing has changed at all. It's still been the same. Retail sentiment, fundamentals are about the same. 4-hour trend is still bearish. 6 hours or 1 hour trend is still bearish. 30-minute trend is still bearish. 15-minute is still bullish. It's neutral to bullish. 10 minutes still bullish. And the 1 minute here is kind of just going back and forth. So not really much of a lineup here. I mean, for the most part, short-term trends are attempting to swing its way back up, but I think these long-term trends are going to hold it down. I think it'll push up slightly, and then eventually, one thing to look out for here would be a variation. That'd probably be like one of the main things to look out for here, because if you get a variation here, this will probably continue dropping, or it'll correct. That's the better analysis for it. So possible variation. The only problem here with the variation is that the short-term trend is still bullish. So, so this is one thing. If the 15-minute trend was bearish, then I would be okay with taking the V1 here because everything is pointing towards a sell, right? The problem here is that the shorter term trends, 15-minute and 10-minute, are now bullish. So price can really go either way. Like price can go up higher and higher and higher, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come back down anytime soon. As I mentioned earlier, I do expect price to come back down tomorrow, right, by 5:30. So at this point here, price can continue getting propped up higher and higher and higher. Probably just continue pushing up higher. But then eventually when the inflation news comes out tomorrow at 5:30, I'm expecting this to come right back down. So yeah, we just gotta wait for it. See, Maddie said the 1 hour looks like it's just on a pullback. Go to that real quick. Yeah, no, it looks like it too, Maddie. Looks like price is coming back up, testing the pivot over here before it comes right back down. So that's why I'm looking for sells here, guys. My bias for today is definitely a sell. Long-term bias here indicates that price is going to come down at some point. I just don't know when. The variations work very well on here as well. So if you guys look here to on the 1 hour, this is an actual variation right here. It's a double body. It's a V1 variation. You can see this right here. And from this point, it does come down. The only problem with trading on these higher time frames is that you need to gauge the your TP stop loss a lot better. I think 150 might be good here. Maddie said, "Is this the one, the V1 body you're talking about? It was on a high." Yeah, exactly, Maddie. Well, no, this is a normal V1. Yeah, this is a normal V1 for this right here because it's overall bias right here was a sell. Let's see, Maddie said. Let's see, 727. Go up here real quick. Yeah, so this one right here would meet that. I mean, it would technically meet the criteria. You'd want the trend meter to be red though, because you're looking at the overall bias, Maddie. So like if you're looking at this right here, this is what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't really matter too much on the 1 minute. You just want to make sure that everything else here is indicating that it's going to be a sell, right? Because if you look at everything right here, the retail sentiment, fundamentals, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, they're all selling, they're all indicating that we're looking for a sell here, right? So the 15-minute and 10-minute is what makes it tricky because you can't really confirm if it's actually going to keep dropping, right? So the 1 minute here isn't like a huge deal because you're looking at the longer term move. But if this here was bearish, let's say, for example, the 15-minute was bearish, then we go on the 15 over here, it's bullish right now. If it was bearish, then I would be inclined to take something like this because everything's pretty much red aside from the 10-minute. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said basically it's the same thing he does, but on a high or low. Yeah. Yeah, because you need to have like some actual confirmations with that type of strategy because I know how you're doing it before. It does hit when the market is moving directional, but when the market's moving sideways like this, you want to have some sort of confirmation, right? Because you'll see a lot of those double bodies, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hold. So if you have something where it's an actual high-low, because this indicator right here, it typically looks to identify where the highs are, right? So if you look here, whenever these establish, like you can see right here, we have a high. Whenever it establishes, price will typically go down a pretty far push, right? Same with this right here. It establishes a low, and it pushes up at least 100 pips, right? Because you're looking for 100 pips on these moves here. The thing with what you were doing before, Maddie, is you were just taking every trade, right? So like every time you see a double top here, like something like this, you're going to get instances where, yeah, it's going to hit, but the real move actually happened from up here. So when you do look for trades like that, you want to base them off some sort of structure. You don't want to just take every single candle. You want to actually have structure where price is going to bounce off of. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said, yeah, you can only do this if it's a strong trend when he's doing. Yeah, exactly. So the market lately hasn't had like super strong trends, and that's why you have to wait for like these high lows, because it helps with identifying where like a big push is going to happen. And realistically, you're going for a small push within it. So it doesn't matter if you catch like, the bigger push or the smaller push, but you can catch them pretty easily if you base them off that type of move. So yeah, with this right here, you were right. It did hit the criteria. The trend meter here was kind of iffy though, because the shorter time frames were indicating bullish pushes, 15-minute, 10-minute, now the 1 minute. Yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, there's still nothing for us to take right here. I'm still looking for something. I was hoping to have at least one solid trade to kick off the trading week, but just don't have that. All right, price is now pushing up. Let's go back to this clean chart here. As you guys can see, it just keeps coming back down. It'll fake out and it'll come back down. Same with this right here. This might fake out again right here, and then it just might come right back down to this area. I'd probably refrain from taking buys. All right, we just have a huge zone right here now, which I typically don't like. Let's see real quick. Yeah, if this zone over here closes, it's just going to be a huge zone right here, which I typically don't like trading in. Man, there's so much going on in the world. I was hoping that, since we're entering fall, that we'd have more of a directional push, but lately it just hasn't been like that. I know we're coming back from a long weekend, but still, I was hoping for more of a directional push. And there we go. Price fakes out. Here's a clean chart. I already marked this up right here. This is actually going to be a double wick. So this is a reversal pattern right here. If this closes with a double wick, this will probably be a reversal pattern. Price might be coming back down. I don't really like the double wicks as much as the double bodies. I think double bodies are better, but the double wicks do still act as a reversal pattern. The only problem here is that on the 1 minute, it is bullish. Trend meter is green. Price is above the pivots. They're angling up. So this might not be a heavy swing down. It might be a retracement, but not a super heavy swing down. But you guys can see right there, double wick rejection. Price comes right back down. All right, so this zone over here, it looks like it's going to be established. If that's the case right here and this zone gets established, we're just going to have a huge zone right here. All right, so we got a big zone right down here. Yeah, Maddie said, I might be done for today. I don't like this market. Yeah, same here, Maddie. I'm looking for entries here, but there just isn't anything for us to take at the moment. So here's the double wick that I was talking about earlier, guys. If the trend meter was red, then I would be okay with taking this here, but since it's green, it's conflicting. But it would have hit TP already right there. 100 pips. So that's why I'm a little iffy about it here, because of the obvious, the longer term trends. Longer term trends are bearish. Retail sentiment's bearish as well. Fundamentals are bearish. The only problem here is the 15-minute and 10-minute trend. You can see it pull down a little bit, could have made some profit off it, and then price just decided to continue pushing up higher. I think this is going to play out exactly how I was mentioning earlier. I think the price is going to continue to get propped up, and then eventually it's going to come back down once the inflation news comes out tomorrow. You can see right here it's knocked out liquidity, and then here we go with another fake out as price comes right back down. Here we are for a double body. This would be a V1 continuation, but it doesn't fit the criteria because the trend meter right here is still green. Although I do think price will come back down, and this is a reversal pattern. The only problem here is that the higher time, well, not higher time frames, but the 15-minute is bullish, 10-minute is bullish, 1 minute is also bullish. So I don't know how strong this will hold, and that's where it becomes an issue because of that specific setup right here. So let's see. So we have the double body. This is a reversal pattern. So if price does come back down, that's kind of anticipated, but it's just too risky of a move. So this right here would be a V1 continuation. Not one I would take yet though, because obviously, and right there, I would have hit TP. So these are risky trades. You guys can take these V1s. You know, I've told you guys about this double body or double wick up here. This hit TP. The double body right here also hit TP. But you can see that it's not a strong move. Like it's enough to hit your TP, but it's not enough to actually reverse the actual direction of price, right? I think overall price will come down, but these are risky trades because, you know, if your spread's too wide, right now the spread's not that bad. It's 170. But if the spread's like over 200, then you can get caught in the trade and not get pulled out in profit. Right. So I'm going to try to show you guys, like, you know, this is the discipline that really comes into play, because you can take all of these entries here and you can make a lot of profit, but you can also lose a lot of profit if you get too greedy. So there's two entries here that I showed you. There's a double wick rejection right here. That would have been a full TP, but you can see how closely it was to getting stopped out, right? If you didn't pull out right here where it hits your TP, it would have reversed up and hit your stop loss. Again, with this right here as well. Double body. If you took that trade there, it would have hit your TP. But if you got greedy and didn't pull out, you can see right here that it's now back into drawdown. So like even though these are actual entries, they're not what I would consider quality. And, you know, me being a conservative trader, I don't want you guys to make this mistake here, because I know a lot of people get greedy when they see entries like this come up and they don't pull out when they're supposed to, or sometimes they get caught in the spread and they just end up getting screwed. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for this angle back down. Basically, I'm looking for this to pull back below this area and provide for some entries around here. Go to the 10-minute over here. There's not really too much going on over here. So this right here is not going to be so with price above this point now, you'd be looking for variations for a buy on the 10-minute. Price pulls down slightly, establishes a low, and you get a double body. This is where you would look for basically what Maddie applies the V1 continuation for a buy. So on the 10-minute, it's a little different. You don't have to look for a lot of the longer term ones. What you would do is you would just continue trading in the direction of the trend for the specific time frame. So on the 10-minute here, since this is such a higher time frame, you wouldn't necessarily be looking for sells here because price is above the pivots. Trend meter right here is green. This is indicating that the trend for the 10-minute right now is bullish. So what you'd be looking for is if price pulls down slightly, establishes a low, it's a double body or double wick, you would take that for 500 pips higher. And the 10-minute moves completely different from the 1 minute. So you don't want to get those two confused. All right, so price finally broke out of this area, pretty much hit liquidity, pushed up higher, knocked out this liquidity, or it's attempting to. You can see this candle right here is having trouble, staying above it. But the liquidity that did get hit. So I'm going to go and just clean this up right here. I'm going to mark up opening price. It's right there. And I'm going to clean up these areas of liquidity. All right, so let me go here on the 1 hour real quick. Here's a 1 hour, Maddie. It's actually breaking past the pivots. I think this will probably, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks past it and then it just keeps pushing up until later. Or what might happen is it might push up slightly above this area, consolidate a bit. And then the news tomorrow for inflation is going to come out right over here. So it might continue to get propped up, but I think tomorrow for sure, the market is going to be coming right back down. So I'll be ready for it. If price continues pushing up here, I don't think I'll chase it for a buy. I think the buys here are super dangerous because it's really hard to tell when price is going to come back down. I mean, if anything, price might come up to this area right here and double top off it. Yeah, Maddie said broke for our supply, might be pushing up. Gonna wait for this week for the drop. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said we still have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yeah, today's a bit of a tricky day because there's no news here pushing price around. Let me check CNBC real quick. I mean, the US30 is the only index that's up right now. If you look over here on the indices, US30 is up 69 points, S&P is down 18 points, Nasdaq's down almost 100 points. Russell 2K is down 20 points. So, I see this as temporary for US30. I think price is going to come back down. Again, right here, another double body and would have hit full TP. This is a V1 right here, actually. It just wouldn't fit the criteria, though, because it's bullish right here. So you don't want to trade against the trend. But the thing is, we know that the long-term direction is going to be a sell. So, even though I wouldn't want to take a sell here, I mean, I'd be inclined to take them. You can see all of the B1 variations here for a sell actually all hit. So there was one over here. There's double wick, full TP. There was one right here that was a double body, full TP. Again, another one right here, which is also a double body, and it hit full TP, but it was right at the session. So another red flag right there. There's just a lot of areas here where you don't want to trade. Mostly these red flags are these key areas that you want to avoid, because you can get caught in a lot of fake outs right here. But price did come up and it was a double body. This is why I focus on the V1s. If you guys haven't been sitting in on the sessions lately, the main strategies I'm focusing on are variations, also variation continuations, and the SR rejection. So those are basically the only strategies that I'm applying myself at this time, because the market just isn't moving directional very much. So let's see. Just gonna clean this up over here. This is a clean chart. Just want to show you guys how price kind of moved along over here. So market opened right here at 630. As you can see, price pretty much consolidated quite a bit. Now that price is broken above here, it's chosen its direction. So the direction for right now is bullish, right? That's the direction here on the shorter time frame. One thing that you could look for if you're looking for buys here are going to be variations from the bottom side. Not necessarily regular variations, but continuations. There's not one right here. There's no double body or double wick. But if you want to continue riding this up, a variation continuation would be the main thing to follow with, because it is bullish right now. Let me take a look at the 30-minute trend. 30-minute trend is actually now bullish. So as you can see, it's starting to change right here. I don't think this will hold for very long, but at least until tomorrow. I think the 1 hour trend is still bearish, right? Yeah, 1 hour trend is still bearish. It's still very strong for a sell. Same with the 4 hour over here. So the middle trends over here are starting to change a little bit. You can see it's bullish from the 10-minute, 15-minute, and 30-minute, but the 1 hour is still bearish and the 4 hour is still bearish as well. So this is the 1 hour chart. You can see price is attempting to push up. Last line of defense is going to be the last pivot right there. Price can push up and they can bounce directly off it, right? One to the 4 hour over here. Same situation. The 4 hour, I mean, you can probably see it better right here, Maddie, on the 4 hour. It's actually, it's just testing the pivot over here, but it's not really that far up yet. Yeah, it's still bearish right here. You know, one thing that I noticed a lot too, is just timing these rejections off the pivots, because I've seen a lot of people take trades directly off the pivots. And yeah, if this ends up closing like this, so this is kind of what I see here on the 4 hour. If it rejects cleanly off of the pivot right there without the buy signal, this will probably drop on the next candle, because this candle closes in the next 3 hours. As we get closer to that point, that's going to be the mid-market reversal time. So you can see right here, the next 4 hour candle opens at 11 o'clock. That's typically where the mid-market reversal happens. So yeah, I guess this would be something to look at, see where it closes. If it rejects off this point without the buy signal, it's probably going to come back down. Let me see if there's anything over here. Nothing off the 1 minute. Nothing off the 10-minute. One thing to keep an eye out for here on the 10-minute, which it means probably not going to happen, but if price does come back below and it closes as a red candle, this could possibly be a double body. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing here for us to take right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. It's 7:50 right now, so it's about 10 minutes till 8. Typically, we get off the live session at 8. I don't see myself trading after 8 today or at all today, because there's no positions for us to take here. There's no K2SR rejections, unfortunately. There was a couple here that came up, but there was no, like, not all criteria was met. So if you look over here real quick, let me just put the requirements. There were a lot of close entries. But so, for example, right here, price was pushing up, but we didn't have a buy signal, so we couldn't take any buys here. In order for us to take it, we would need this third requirement to be met. So there's a couple entries here that could have been taken. This one right here, and this one right here, right after it. But the main problem here is that there was no buy signal, so we couldn't take this for the buy, right? So there just isn't any entries to take right now. If there's any questions you guys have, any confusion, anything that you guys need me to clarify, you know, feel free to let me know so that you guys can be ready for these entries, you know, if and when they come up. I think for the next couple of weeks, our main focus is going to be the variation V1 continuation, and the SR rejection until we get, you know, more of a directional push in the market. I think it'll start to move more directional tomorrow when you have more news, but for today, there just isn't any direction. You can see right here, this is where the market opened at 6:30. A lot of consolidation right here. Price pretty much consolidated for the first hour, and then all of a sudden it started pushing up higher. So I don't think this push up will hold, but you know, it's something to pay attention to, especially if we see that big reversal happen by tomorrow. So my anticipation is that when we get to that mid-market reversal, as long as this closes as a, you know, rejection off the structure, or not structure, but the pivot, it'll probably come down further. Kind of similar to like what happens right here, right? So similar pattern here. Price rejected right off the pivot, and then it came down right after on that following candle. The thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that I think the 4 hour time frame is the best for like a lot of assets that you want to trade. The reason why I see the 4 hour to be the best is because the 4 hour closes at the start of a new session. So For example, right here, when this closes right here at 11, or I mean, it's going to be like the middle of New York session, the close of London, and soon to be open for Australia session. So not necessarily for US30, but for Forex, if you guys remember when I used to call signals, I would trade only off the 4 hour because the 4 hour time frame would be the start of a new session. Like typically almost every time the 4 hour candle closes, it'd be the start of a new session. And it would be easy to identify, where price is likely to go. If you guys are not familiar with like the strategy I used to apply before, it was the K2 SR. It was basically the zone to zone strategy. Yeah, because you're just looking for price to break and close past structure, and then it continues to the next structure. So, I mean, I haven't really looked at Forex in a while, but might be something worth looking at because the US30 is just way too slow. I mean, something to trade during, I guess, Asia session, unless the market starts to pick up here. But as you guys can see here for US30, nothing's really happening. It's still going sideways. So here's my clean chart. I'm gonna go and mark up the high lows so that you guys can see the market structure better. It's kind of hard to see here, but if you guys draw up the high lows, you guys can see here that it's literally just going sideways right here. No direction at all. I'm kind of curious to see these here moving. Yeah, so this is kind of similar to what I was just discussing right now. So like if you look over here at like GJ, right? And I'm just going to use this as an example. It's not something that you should necessarily trade just because I just showed you guys this here, but you can see here how momentum is pushing down because we have a sell momentum, right? So you have a sell momentum like that, and you can see right here that this candle right here is rejecting off the pivot, right? So typically, if you see something like this, the next candle is probably going to drop further from there. So you can see right here, nice profit off that right there, right? And it continues. So there's like one right there. Another one right here. You can see this green candle right here is rejecting off the pivot. We have sell momentum. Again, right there, another big move. So I have a lot of these strategies that I used to apply like, a long time ago, and they still work perfectly fine. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have already noticed this. I mean, it's pretty simple, like buy signal right here. You don't really care about the trend too much on the higher time frames because price is going to go back and forth. But you can see right here, we have a buy signal. Price is rejecting off the pivot right there, full TP. Same with this next one right here, same thing, same setup, full TP. Same with this one right here. Price comes down, rejects off the structure. Full TP right there. It's just a lot of opportunities here to trade if you guys are looking. I mean, because I was thinking about maybe like taking these longer trades for Forex just to let them run, but I don't know. We'll see. I was kind of contemplating whether to get back into signals. I don't know. I just have a lot of ideas because US30 over here, I know it's good. Like it's good when the market's moving smoothly, but I kind of want something else to look at while like market's kind of slow. I am trading XRP over here. I'm just buying and holding it whenever it comes down to this area. So whenever price comes down, I buy, make a big profit off that, let price come back down and do the same thing. Let's see, Patrick said triple again, but candle too big and at sessions. Yeah, the market right now is just it's just too erratic. So like this is a trade that Patrick was referring to. There was a triple confluence right here off this. Price broke and closed past it. However, it was right at the session. So a lot of manipulation right there. Also, candle's too big. Yeah, it was 410 pips. Way too big. Let's see, Barack said finally covered the loss. I think this directionless is hinting me to stay off for today, and I will obey. Yeah, no, probably the best idea there, Barack. I mean, for a lot of people. So unless you guys have any other questions, I'm gonna wrap this up soon at around 8 o'clock. There's just nothing for us to take at the moment. It's right at the sessions right here, and then again right here. This is a key time to just sit out of the market and wait until tomorrow, because I think tomorrow price will move a lot smoother since we have a lot more news. We don't have anything else for today aside from the Fed speaking at 9 o'clock. So another reason to stay out of the market, because the Fed's probably going to cover stuff pre-inflation news tomorrow. So Fed member Messer is going to speak at 9 o'clock. He's probably going to give a little hint as to like what information is going to come out for tomorrow. So, what you might see here is you might see price drop at 9 o'clock. Because when Fed Messer speaks, he's probably going to give a little hint as to like what news is going to drop tomorrow with the inflation stuff. And it's not going to be good. Inflation is going to keep going up, right? They're going to keep raising interest rates. There was also some news events yesterday. So it was this guy, Jamie Dimon. He mentioned that, he confirmed that we're going to a recession within the next couple months or so. The next 6 to 9 months, we're going to a heavy recession. I was trying to see his other news event here, but I don't think it's on here. But yeah, as we continue to move along, more recession news is going to come out. So I forgot who. Yeah, he's the JP Morgan CEO, Jamie Dimon. He basically confirmed that we are definitely going into a recession. For the past couple of months, the Fed and the president, everybody keeps saying we're not going to a recession, but a lot of the bigger players here are confirming it even more. So if you guys want to continue trading around 9 o'clock, you're probably going to see price come back down. So one thing to look out for here would be looking at this right here. This is going to close. Actually, it's going to close a little later. Close in about 3 hours. So it's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually, no, that's right. In the next 3 hours, it'll be 11. And from there, you might see this come back down further. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for right now. Unless you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, you guys can always message me on Telegram if you guys want me to cover anything. Or if you guys want to email me, you can email me at sean@kodikaitrades.com. But I think for right now, it's probably best to just sit out the market, guys. I'm not looking to take anything right here. There's again another double body right there. So I've been showing you guys a lot of these variations, right? A bunch of them keep coming up and they keep hitting. This is one of the strategies that I'm looking for. However, it's just not at a good area. So like, for example, there's a V1 variation right here, which is in the direction of the long-term bias. However, it was right at the sessions. So obviously not one that I would take, but pretty much every variation we looked at today, it pretty much hit. There's another variation right here, but it was right at the session. So both of these are at the sessions, but they both hit their full TPs pretty nicely. So there's one like right here, solid full TP, and then another one right here, double body, which should have been a nice full TP. But I'm not going to take that risk, especially on a day like this. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for now. It's 8 o'clock. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll be picking back up tomorrow. Just a reminder, guys, tomorrow is going to be a bigger day, so you don't have to trade today if you don't need to. If you can just conserve your capital until tomorrow. Tomorrow we have inflation news at 5:30, right, pre-market. And then after that, we have more inflation news on Thursday, same time, and then again on Friday. So I think volatility is going to pick up a lot more in the next 3 days, and the market's going to be a lot more directional. But for right now, I think this is just going to be a prop up and a setup for the news that's to come later today at 9 o'clock, and then tomorrow for sure during the inflation updates. So, all right, guys, other than that, I will see you guys here, same place, same time tomorrow. Unfortunately, no trades for us today, which is a bit of a bummer because we didn't trade yesterday. So we're like down a day, and then now we're down 2 days because we don't have, any solid trades to take. But it's okay. I think if you do make up for it tomorrow, it's probably gonna be a lot bigger. Probably take a couple of trades, and then same with Thursday and Friday. So, all right, guys, other than that, I will see you guys here tomorrow, same time, same place. as we pick up and continue on with the trading week. So until then,